I mentioned Droid Star, that you can put on your phone. That's a picture of what it looks like. There are several Linux programs that are available. MTalk was one of them I mentioned earlier. RF gateways and so forth. The TNC4 from the MobiLink, talked about that. That's another way to get on the air. Hardware, there's various modules. We've already demonstrated some of those. And then here's the list of the actual websites and so forth. M17project.org is sort of the main website. If you go there, it will give you links to everything else that you need to know, including the OpenRTX, the OpenHT project, and the chat rooms we use to communicate around the world. The biggest one is the Discord channel down here. The developers, including myself, are in that every day, talking about the latest mod or what we need to change in the schematic or what software bug isn't working. But if you're interested in purchasing some of this stuff or buying a radio and getting it modded so you can do M17, then that's a great place to go, and there are lots of people in that group that will help you. So more questions? Yes, start over here.
For 3/4 of the people in here, I'm sure they would have no problem doing that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For the 25% of us, particularly me, that I've never done digital, I don't have a clue how digital works. Can I go to the store and buy a radio and turn it on and do this?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay. Soon you'd be able to buy a $1,000 radio to do
No.
that. But no, right now you'd need someone like myself. You could buy like the 380, okay, and then.
I hate to tell you this.
How
but
good are you at soldering?
I had a 380 and sold it because I didn't have a clue. I could turn it on and that was it.
Yeah, it is a DMR radio, and
Yeah,
that's really confusing stuff. So, how good are you at soldering?
Say again?
How good are you at soldering?
It depends on the size.
Oh,
If it's surface mount, forget
surface mount.
it.
Okay. So with one of the, if you wanted to do it today, with one of these, and about 30 minutes of taking this apart, doing a little bit of soldering, basically take off a couple of components, put on a couple of little jumper wires, really all it is, putting it back together, you'd have a radio that was capable of doing it. Then you could flash this, because it's really a case of push the right button, turn it on with the programming cable, run some software which we give you for nothing, and boom, you'd be on the air. So that's what it would take today. Okay, that's the closest you could get.
Terry, that's computer flashing.
What's that?
It's computer flashing.
Well, I
Yeah.
do my 7300, I can flash it, so.
Okay. Other questions?
Yes, has anybody done any work with the network radios to put M17 capability in them?
Yes, they have. I don't remember which ones that are already working, but there's already some modules to download. You plug in, you know, whatever they call them, plugins these days.
You mean an
Software
ancillary?
module.
Oh, okay,
Software module.
yeah.
Yes.
Most of the people in here are computer savvy.
Yeah.
But what makes this any different or more appealing than all the other digital modes that we have out there?
Great question. I like that question. So over here, he bought a radio, tried to do the DMR thing, right?
I even had an expert try to help me, and that was
Yeah.
of no value.
Yeah, and it's same thing here. Okay, DMR. So how many of you have used Fusion? You find it easier? Basically, you turn to the frequency with the Fusion thing, and then the radio works at that point. You're not getting any chat rooms, but the radio works. Okay? In that sense, M17 is very much like that. You turn on the radio, it's going to ask you for your call sign, and it's going to work. Okay? You're on the right frequency, talking to the right repeater. Okay? And or another guy with M17 radio. Sure, we understand how that works. And that's pretty much it. You want to get into the internet side of things, which some of us don't consider radio, but the chat rooms where your radio can talk to a hotspot that can talk to a chat room that talks to the world. This will do all of that too. More technically, to answer your question, things that this will do, it won't care whether the repeater is FM or M17. It will sense that automatically and use the appropriate mode.
Yeah, Fusion does that today.
Yes, that's correct. And it, like Fusion, it will also auto scale. So if there's not enough bandwidth to do full voice, what we refer to as 8 quadratures of communications, it will scale down to 4. And it will also do 4 so you can do voice and data at the same time. So simultaneously. Yes.
Okay, so that's kind of getting to my version of his question. Obviously, fascinating fun for people who like sitting at the middle table there do this do-it-yourself stuff, right? In general, though, what does this protocol, what problem did they solve? What enhancements in terms of a digital protocol that has some forward error correction, right?
Correct.
And so you just hit on
Not
something
brand
where you
specific,
go from 8
open
to
source.
4,
Mhm.
whatever. So, what does this,
Well,
what
so the-
advantage does it have over DMR Tier 2?
So the first advantage it has is that the protocol itself is unencumbered.
Okay, got
So
that.
what that gives us is, should they decide to, radio manufacturers, and we fully suspect, as a matter of fact, there's some talk now with those manufacturers of like TTY, these Chinese manufacturers, that they'll be including M17 in those radios probably in the next couple of years at a minimum. Because it just doesn't cost them anything. They can just include it into another mode. So we hope some of the more traditional ICOMs and gazes will also pick up on that. Doesn't cost them anything, and they can join and be another. You can use ours or you can use that. We'll see. They're more about the money. Outside of that, on more technical sides, because this is all fully available and open source, if there's a thing someone wants to do with it, add new features. So one of the projects I want to work on, how many of you are familiar with APRS and MIC-E, which is a Tapper project?